Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fiction. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for Is It Worth My Time? This time around, it's the sequel to Train to Busan Peninsula. Actually, I believe the English version title of it is to Busan Presents Peninsula, is what that is. So let me take care of some business first, then we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. If you like what you see here, then hit that subscribe button down below there. Also, if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, hit that bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule. I change up every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon. No tier set up on the Patreon page because I'm waiting until I hit 1,000 subscribers. Then I can give you stuff if you're giving me money. Also, I have the links to this YouTube channel, my Facebook page. And for those of you who still have Facebook, a Facebook group page where you guys can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. All right. Sorry, I'm a little bit late today. I had to take care of some business. So I might as well just say it now. I'm actually going to be moving back up to the San Francisco Bay Area next month. Yeah, I got a new job. My job that pays my bills, that kind of stuff. And it's up in Northern California. So I'm going to be moving up that way. Was just finalizing things there. And yeah, so let me get to this. Sorry, all the adrenaline still kind of, running through my system at the time too. The non-spoiler version of this. So what is Peninsula about? It takes place 4 years after Train to Busan. So Train to Busan, for those of you who don't know, is a zombie movie that takes place on board of a train. And essentially it's a father and a daughter. They're on board the train. Great movie, by the way, if you haven't seen it. It is in Korean, but of course there's an English dub version, there's subtitles, there's all kinds of stuff for it. And the train is making its way to Busan because that is the last place where the military is basically making a zone to protect people that aren't infected yet. So these are not the zombies that everyone has the disease. So if you die from a gunshot or something like that, that you turn into a zombie. No, you have to be bitten by a zombie in order to be infected, and then you become a zombie as a result. But these are the speedy zombies. So they run, they do all kinds of weird shit with their bodies and whatnot. And they're pretty freaky. So anyway, this takes place 4 years after Train to Busan. And excuse me. We see two of the main characters actually, Jung Sok and Min Young, and I'm gonna murder names. You already know this. They are brother-in-laws, actually, and they escaped from Incheon as the contagion was starting to happen. And it takes, we see them escape, and then 4 years later, them coming back for a heist, if you will. So they're going to come into Incheon, and they need to bring back a truck full of $20 million, which sounds easier than it actually is because, of course, all of Incheon has zombies. The rest of the world knows this as well. There's actually a UN line that basically keeps boats from coming in, but of course, people pay to get past those lines. And of course, it's all contained to the Korean Peninsula, South Korean Peninsula there. And so the rest of the world knows zombies exist in Korea, and they're okay with it, which is kind of a weird thing. They just kind of jump forward in all of this. So basically, this is a heist movie. Also, it's got a little bit of wistfulness about what could have been a movie. There's a lot of slow motion in this movie, and it's really heavy on the CGI too. It's not as good as the first movie, Train to Busan. I highly recommend Train to Busan if you haven't seen it. Really, really good. The second one, not so much. It was $5.99 to buy it on Amazon. That was the reason why I bought it, because I've been wanting to see it. And I was like, it's 4.99 to rent or 5.99 to buy. And I was like, fuck it, I'll buy it. Fuck, I paid $20 for Bloodshot, and I own that piece of shit right now. So this was not by far the worst thing I've ever bought. And I really don't have any regrets about it. It wasn't bad for what it was. It has some good scenes in it, some good moments in it, but the slow motion stuff kind of drags on. So is it worth your time? Um, if you're a fan of the first film, I would say yes. Like, again, like I said, it's refreshing not to have characters die and then immediately come back as zombies and try and bite you and eat you and whatnot. You have characters who get shot and they die and they stay dead because they didn't get infected by whatever the virus is that turns you into a zombie. And that actually was refreshing in this. Um, but like I said, if you're a fan of the first movie, then this might be up your alley. This might be something that's worth it. If you're not, if you haven't seen the first movie or you're just tired of zombie movies, I would say skip this one. There's also a lot of car racing stuff going on in here too. So, yeah. With that said, spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the rest of the movie. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. Come on back. Excuse me. This will be a video you can comment down below in the comments section. Okay, you've been warned. So, yeah, you have a little bit of drama because one of the brother-in-laws, Jung Sok, is he was former military, and as he was driving his sister, brother-in-law, and niece out, or excuse me, nephew, out of the zone, they come across a broken down vehicle and a guy, a woman, and their little daughter begging for someone just to take the daughter, and he drives past. Well, he meets her 4 years later in Incheon when he sneaks in to go and get this money, and of course feels really guilty about shit, especially since his sister and nephew died on board the ship that they were going to Hong Kong. And by the way, they're refugees, so the Koreans now are refugees in Hong Kong, and they are being looked at as infected. So this actually does have a timely um, thing, I guess you could say, about racism and from where you're from, or even who you are, what you look like, you're being, discriminated against as being infected, unclean, something like that. And I don't think the makers of this movie kind of realized that was going to happen with what happened in COVID in, you know, this year. And we do have a lot of racism associated with that. So I'm not going to get into it, but yes, that is delved into a little bit in the very beginning of this movie, and I found that kind of interesting that they kind of touched on it, and I was like, wow, that's actually pretty relevant, and they weren't even trying to do that. Um, but having these people being desperate enough to say, okay, I'll take that boat ride into Incheon, and I'm probably murdering names. I'm sorry. Uh, and there's a truck with $20 million, 20 million US dollars in the back. And all they need to do is drive the truck down to the pier, get on board the ship, and leave. And of course, it's never that easy because there's a rogue military unit that, of course, is trying to stop anybody from leaving. And they were left behind at the time. And yeah, they're the big problem, essentially. And they're crazy. They're insane. They live in a shopping mall. They, of course, scavenge for food and stuff like that. And they also have, I guess you could say, games as punishment, where if you're perceived to be against, I don't know, for whatever reason, they take somebody and they put them into an arena where the zombies chase them down and either eat, and they have numbers painted on them. So people can bet on who's going to be fastest and all this stuff. It's pretty fucked up. But the zombies, of course, only come out during the daytime. They're attracted to light, to sound, things like that. They are pretty much blind at night, and they move really, really fast. They can also clump together in like giant balls and move down the street. It's insane the amount of CGI that is in this thing. I mean, The car movements alone, I mean, you could tell they're CGI. They're just too rubbery the way the stuff moves around, and that kind of throws you out of it. But again, like I said, the slow motion, there's slow motion scenes in this thing. That I almost started laughing. Well, actually, I did laugh at a couple of scenes where you've got the mom running in slow motion as you got this guy who had left her behind before is shooting at zombies that are behind her, to take them out before they get to her. And she's running in slow motion and and it goes on for way too long. And you're just kind of going, yeah, what the fuck? uh, the bad guys are suitably bad in this too, but they're not like torturous bad. They're just enough, bad enough where you're just like you're not rooting for them, and some of them are cartoony too. But it's one of those things that if you're just looking for a little bit of an escape, it's not bad. It's not the greatest movie either, but it's not bad. That's why I can't fully recommend it unless you've watched the first movie. And even then, you're going to compare it to the first movie and say, well, the first movie was heads and tails much, much fucking better than this one. This one is just kind of guilty pleasure fun, is really what it is. If you want to see zombies get blown up, hit by cars, fall out of windows, fall off of buildings, uh, just all kinds of zombie food that you can get off of this. That's what you're going to get in this movie. They did some very, very creative stuff with, you know, zombies coming out, dying. Uh, Not so much zombies like attacking people. They didn't have that kind of scare. Like Walking Dead does that a little bit better, where Greg Nicotero tries to create as much as possible a scare moment. It's like, holy shit, never thought that was going to happen. Kind of like, those of us of a certain age were like, holy shit, I need to worry more about quicksand because we saw it in all those movies as a kid growing up. And of course, you don't need to worry about it. So, is it worth your time? Not really. It's not. I wish I could say it was, but no, not really. Yes, I agree with you, Penn. It did have a lot of shades of Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, especially when she's, drifting sideways into the zombies and taking them out. The little girl in this was actually pretty funny, where she's donning night vision glasses, and she's got this toy remote control vehicle with lights and noise on it, so it attracts zombies. And she's driving them through the zombie horde and leading them away. And at one point, she's trying to lead them past their car, and they're in it, and the truck flips over, and her sister's sitting there next to her going, fuck. And the zombies are all around them. And she goes, I know. You try driving this thing. It was uneven ground. And then so she and she's only like, you know, 8 years old, maybe something. I don't know, probably like 5 years old, something. And so she's kind of wheeling it back and forth until it turns back upright and then drives past. That was actually kind of funny. Seeing these people be kind of jaded because they've been around zombies so long and, thwarting them and everything, that they're not even scared when they have zombies, a horde of zombies around the car. That I thought was actually kind of funny. So, like I said, there are some refreshing scenes in this that you haven't seen before in zombie movies, and it was the same thing with Train to Busan. They did some really good stuff in there too, and I would highly recommend the first movie over this one. So, yeah. So, Penn, you enjoyed it? Yeah, exactly. It was far from the worst thing I've ever watched either. It was entertaining, is really what it was. It was one of those midnight movie kind of entertaining where you're just like, it's not low budget really, and it's not the quality movie that you get, but at the same time, you don't mind it because it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and you know, I sometimes want to watch some zombies being decapitated, or having a car run over them, or that kind of stuff. So yeah, yeah, not bad. What would you say, Penn? Was it worth your time, or you agree with the? I know there's a few of you guys in here, but Penn's the only one that's actually typing anything. Oh man. Penn says some channels would say it was woke because it was a woman with two daughters. Yeah, there's There's a lot of people that say a lot of different things that are just kind of stupid. I'm gonna flat out say it. I mean, if you just can't sit back and enjoy something for a little bit and not have to put political aspirations to it, or sometimes there is political aspirations in these movies and TV shows and whatnot, and you're just like, fuck. But this one doesn't have it. They're not trying to push an agenda or anything like that. It's just fucking zombies. Is really all it is. Yeah. Yeah, you agree. So it was worth your time, Pen. All right. So there you go. So what else do I have going on this week? Tomorrow I'm gonna try and get it out. It might come out on Thursday just because again, the stuff with the new job is I need to finalize paperwork and all that kind of stuff. Is going to be who in the hell is Bo-Katan? So I skipped over Bo-Katan completely. I should have actually done her last week. And just so you know a little bit about who in the hell Bo-Katan is and the Mandalorian there. Katie Sackhoff's character, who she also voiced as the animated thing, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I will get into that tomorrow. Friday will be The Mandalorian. That's right, a new episode of The Mandalorian. In the seventh episode, the penultimate episode of the season. I'm kind of disappointed, but also excited at the same time. Saturday is going to be Saturday morning blast off, where I take the genre news of the week and any genre stuff you guys want to talk about, and we talk about it. Also, Sunday I'm going to be off. Monday will be His Dark Materials, and I want to thank. There's a new viewer actually out there, and I'll thank him actually on the His Dark Materials. He filled in a little bit of the gaps from the book in the comment section for last night's His Dark Materials, and it kind of confirms what I was thinking of. Excuse me, as I was watching it. I'm sorry, I just so excited. Tuesday will be another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And I don't know what I'm doing as of yet. I'll think of something. My mind's a little too right now until I can actually think of what I want to do. But I'll think of something. All right. So if you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down there. And while you're down there, hit that like button and the share button as well. Also, if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, hit that bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com for all the links to my social media and all the links to all my pages. And by the way, in case you can't tell, this is a X-Men shirt. It's one of my new shirts that just arrived. So kind of a cool shirt. I like it. So I want to thank everybody who joined me tonight in the chat, and thank you if you made it this far in the video. I'm gonna let you guys go for the night. I'm gonna go and get some of this adrenaline out and just let it and crash down for the night. Thank you, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow. Well, actually, it's a pre-recorded, so I'm not doing it live. The Who in the Hell is. Those were always taped and then taped before a live studio audience. Not really, but they're taped and then I just upload them. It's easier that way, so I can get through all the material and maybe even edit sometimes, but that hasn't happened yet. All right. Thank you, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow virtually. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may be given an offer to get $20 million out of the Korean Peninsula, but there's a lot of zombies involved, and really don't take the offer. It's not worth it. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again, well, on Friday, really. But until then, take care, be well, stay safe, and have a good night. Thanks, Pen. Thank you. I will see you guys again on Friday. Have a good night.